Hi, everyone. We're super happy to have you joining us today for this quick session on facilitation and conflict resolution. My name is Amber Michelle Gonzales-Vargas. I am the daughter of Marco Gonzalez and Silvia Vargas, two beautiful immigrants from the country of Peru. And I am joined here by Shiree Teng, an amazing facilitator, and someone that I have had the fortune of working with at the Latino Community Foundation, where I am the senior program manager managing the Latino Giving Circle Network, which to date is the largest Latino donor network in the country here in the United States. So I'm very fortunate to work with such an amazing group, and happy to share a couple tidbits and information and kind of, I guess, really not secrets, but things that I've learned in my experience. And I'll let Shiree introduce herself a little bit more so you can get to hear about her amazing experience and some of the work she does.
Thanks, Amber. Good day, everyone. My name is Shiree Teng, Teng Shiree. I come from the colonial island of Hong Kong that's in the midst of fighting for our freedom and democratic functioning. So I have been in this country for a long time as a non-English speaking immigrant teenager. I joined the movement for change as a way to give back to all the people that have helped me survive and thrive in this country. And today I'm an independent consultant. I do strategy and evaluation, have had the honor and privilege of working with Latino Community Foundation going on 8 years. Today I'm their learning and evaluation partner for the Latino Giving Circles, as well as the nonprofit accelerator. So I want to bring in some of my experiences, what I've seen, what I've learned with you today. And I'm really happy to be here with Amber, someone I completely adore and love and have seen her in action. And it's just so full of heart and beauty.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shiree. As you can see, everyone, the love is extremely strong here. Maybe that's even the first tidbit of information, Shiree. Always leading with your heart. Especially as a facilitator. As a facilitator, I think one of the things that I've learned is that you are really carrying the energy and the direction and the energy that you feel in the space and in the room when you're working with a group, regardless of the size. And so I think this is a great time to sort of give you all an overview of what it is that we're going to touch on a little bit today. First off, congratulations on wanting to and deciding to start a giving circle. That is beautifully sounding music to my ears, and I'm sure to Shiree's ears as well. The giving circles are such a beautiful process and beautiful way to engage with others, like-minded individuals, and really with the community at large. I think it really speaks to the fact that there's so much love and trust in the community, and there are people that really just want to do good. And so congratulations on wanting to start a giving circle, and really excited to help you with that process. I think the first thing to note about working with a giving circle is that you have, in any sort of giving circle, you have individuals coming from very different backgrounds, different walks of life, just really different life experiences that may also be very different from your own, which on one hand is so beautiful because there's so much learning that goes on. There's so much storytelling and story sharing that goes on. And at the same time, it can be one of the most challenging parts of facilitating a meeting, because you have different people that have different experiences and different ideas about maybe how a decision should be done or what direction to take a group. And so one of the things that we want to do is just kind of highlight that, but also tell you, don't be scared. It is absolutely nothing to be scared of. It can be actually really exciting to help guide people throughout with these conversations. And we know that you can do it. So Shiree, I'll kick it back to you. I know that I just shared, I've had the pleasure of working with about 23 giving circles in our network with about 500 members from across the network. And so I've worked with different people from different walks of life, and really happy to share a little bit more of my experience as well.
That's great, Amber. Thank you for leading with love. I think that is absolutely the number one ingredient to be a successful, creative, fun facilitator that other people actually want to come to meetings you facilitate.
That's right.
Because when you love them, the care, the sense of belonging and community is why people come to giving circles.
That's
So
right.
we've done this evaluation twice now. And the number one reason people say they come and stay in a giving circle, in the Latino Community Foundation's giving circle, is number one is they want to be with other like-minded, like-hearted philanthropists, activists,
That's right.
advocates, organizers together in one community. The second thing is they really have valued Latinos giving to other Latinos in the tradition of this long tradition of philanthropy. Philanthropy in our home countries may not have looked like it is today, where you would give out money. It was probably clothing and places to stay and food and money. So this long tradition of giving back is something people are very proud of and excited to do together. And then the third is the idea that we can be connected to Latinos running good, positive, community-based causes in our own backyard, and that we together can help our community rise as one. So those are the top reasons why people have come to the Giving Circle and stay in them with the Latino Community Foundation. So I think leading with love and respect for that, for those aspirations and inspirations from our people is something that I've learned over time. Amber, what are some of the lessons you have learned facilitating these circles, given what you said, right? The beauty of the diverse voices, and it's diverse. People sometimes can be all over. What have you learned about facilitating in that environment?
I think that one of the first things that jumped at me was really about how it's so important that when we have these meetings, we start with some sort of personal touch. It can be easy to just jump right into business and like, all right, we have to make this decision today, or like, what's, what are we doing? And yet at the same time, given what you just said, Shiree, about what you learned from the evaluation of our Giving Circle network, it's so true. Like people come for people. At the end of the day, you can have the best program, you can have everything structured to the T's, the perfect agenda. And yet, if you are not connected to somebody in your circle, if you don't have some sort of relationship, it doesn't have to be, a best friend, but if you have some sort of relationship, some sort of connection point with the people in your circle, you're so much more likely to come back in. And so as a facilitator, you want to make sure that you are really embedding that into some part of your agenda. A great idea is to do an opening question, what's on your heart today? What made you smile this weekend? Questions like that, or something maybe a little bit more high level if you would like where did you grow up? All of these things can be, easy touch points to get people be like, oh wow, like I grew up in the same city, or you know what made you smile this weekend made me smile as well. And it really helps guide the conversation as well, because you also, I think, as a facilitator, have to keep in mind that everybody is on different levels of engagement, and also in terms of comfortability with the group. So you want to make sure that at every level when you have the chance, that everybody can participate. Of course, this depends on group size, but as much as you can, you definitely want to make sure that that's sort of at the forefront of your agenda. Even if it's not there, you want to make sure you're incorporating and keeping that in the back of your mind.
So community building and really create a sense of belonging. You belong here. We want you here. We see you. We hear you. One of the things that I've learned is to use pop.
Mm-hmm.
Pop every meeting. So pop is like purpose, outcome, and then process. So a lot of times I see other facilitators or people wanting to get to the content, right? The business, the agenda, without thinking about why are we doing this? Do we need to meet?
That's
Why
right.
are we meeting for
Mm,
this long, right? So what's the purpose? Start with purpose. And then some description or imagination of what you think the outcomes you're striving toward. And then design the activities or the flow, right? The agenda. And then hold on to it lightly. I would say hold on to the agenda lightly, because chances are somebody's going to say something and everybody's going to, yeah, right? The energy is going to pivot and move and leave the agenda in the dust. And you have to be good with that.
yeah,
You have to be good with that, to roll with that, right? Amber,
that's
how many
right.
times if that happens?
Absolutely. No, and I think it's even, what I'm hearing too, Shiree, is being comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you don't know also what people are walking into with this meeting. You don't know what's going on in the world. Very much things can shift at any time. I think this reminds, when I was in my undergraduate career and the job that I had there, I used to lead improv workshops for folks on campus, for new people that were coming into executive directors, or coordinator roles for their respective club organizations. And we did these improv lessons for them because it was that same thing. When you're a leader, things can change at any time, and it can be really easy to get stuck on what you had set up that was perfectly going to work out for you. And as we all know, that's not necessarily the case. So
And I think the Giving Circle members appreciate that, right? They know that you're
absolutely.
present, you're paying attention, you're listening, and you're being flexible and responsive. I think that's really an important quality of facilitators. I think the other one is to really pay attention and be conscious of the spectrum of diversity in the room. Everyone may be Latinos, yet their learning styles could be really different, right? You
Absolutely.
have a lot of visual learners, you have auditory learners, you have kinesthetic learners that need to get their hands and body into the work. So, and then you have on the medicine wheel, you will have your eagles, your bears. So people just have different instincts, right? Instinctual preferences. And it's hard to accommodate all of that, yet that is our job when we facilitate, to pay
Absolutely.
attention to what's happening and to be able to bring people's spirits, hearts, intellect into the conversation.
That's right. And an easy way to do that is even establishing community rules or giving circle rules before the meeting even starts. It can be like in the first meeting you ever have, and they can be rules that you incorporate for the rest of your meeting. They can be as simple as, make space, fill space. So creating space for our more introverted individuals in the group, and giving the notification to our extroverts that, you know what, maybe this time you take up a little space in this meeting, and you give space for the ones who are a little quieter. I think that's extremely important, especially because it can be easy to feel and fill the void when there's a pause or silence. And sometimes the most beautiful thing can be the silence, because it's helping our introverted team members and folks to really feel like, okay, I can contribute now, because they've had the time necessary for themselves to think first and then be able to say it out in the bigger group.
Right. So I'm just going to summarize a little bit the 4 points that I think we've covered. One is to be conscious and intentional about building community. Community doesn't just happen because you say it is a community. Community has to be intentionally built. Second is using some group agreement so that there's some standards, there's some guardrails, there's some mutual understanding of how we engage. Third is really be cognizant of the diverse learning styles in your room. So giving space, stepping up, stepping back, all of that. Fourth is having an agenda, right, that is guided by your POP, your purpose and your outcome.
Mhm.
And within that, stay flexible, stay responsive. What did I miss?
No, I think that's perfect, Shiree. Thank you. I think it's great, because I think it really does encompass, again, that the diversity part of of the different folks that you can have in the room. And like you said, in our particular group, most of the people in our giving circles identify as Latino, Latinx, Chicano, Chicanx, you know, a variety of different things. But at the same time, even though we're sort of connected by this Latinx identity, I've seen so many different meetings sort of, you know, sometimes get a little bit heated because we come from such different backgrounds and experiences as well. So I think that you summarized it beautifully. Thank you.
And I would say, thank you for saying that about conflict, right? Conflict and working through conflict and staying connected builds trust, actually builds more trust. So allowing differing perspectives to arise without needing to soften them or make them go away, I think is also part of effective facilitation. And at the same time, reminding people, right, that we need to be hard on the ideas and soft on the people. So love the people, love them through their conflicting ideas, and allow space for the conflicts to work itself out. And even if it doesn't work out, right, in that particular meeting, say that, name that. So help people have an increased comfort level that when we disagree, we can still love each other and be in this movement together. So that's probably the last thing I would, yeah, that's a beautiful point.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, Shiree, to your point, I think that when you're in a giving circle meeting, it's so easy to just want to walk away in that moment with a decision. And I think as a facilitator, it's also okay to say, hey, you know what? Let's take a pause. This is how far we got today. Let's reconvene after we've had some time, right? And then making sure that you are helping facilitate that and making sure that that's part of the conversation also. So thank you, Shiree. Agree.
Because that mirrors life.
It
If our
mirrors life.
are not real, right? People are gonna say, you know, after a while they're gonna not be interested because it's not real. So
That's
we
right.
want to be real. We want to be engaged with our full selves, not just neck up, but our entire being, all our ancestral wisdom, our
Yes.
gut knowledge, our heart knowledge, and our mental knowledge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Shiree, if I can add on, I think too, as a facilitator, I want to just touch on something that you said sort of in the beginning, that this should also be fun for you as a facilitator, right? I think, you know, we can give you all these tips on like how to help manage and direct other folks as well. But I would say like, it's so important for you to take care of yourself before you go into it. You know, when Shiree and I checked in earlier, she asked me a very simple question. How are you doing this morning? And I think that's something that we can actually ask ourselves. Like, how am I doing going into this meeting? Where am I at going into this meeting? And also just because that's also important for you, especially if you're the only facilitator, really thinking about how much you can give to the group. And in some cases, if it makes sense, sharing that, I would say. But on the other hand too, so many of us, and I co-facilitate a lot of meetings. And so I think it's also important to keep in mind that you're not always going to be the main facilitator. And it's always great and absolutely acceptable to say, hey, you know what? Can you take the lead today? This is the way that I can support the best as a facilitator. But I really need you to step in this way. So I think it's also important to, you might want to just do it all. And, you know, because you're the one in this case, you know, starting the giving circle, really want to. But especially when it comes to giving circles, it's about being a part of a collective group. We talk so much about it being a democratic process. And yes, you may be the lead or the founder of a giving circle. And yet, I think that one of the things that you can do best for the life of a giving circle is to help, you know, grow the leadership within your group as well.
That is so key. Because in order to do that, you have to be really confident about what you're about and why you're starting or facilitating your giving circle.
Mm-hmm.
And return to that place again and again of your own intention, of your own pop, right? Your own purpose and the outcomes that you wanted to see the giving circle come to life.
Right.
So growing leadership is a part of this giving circle ability to last for a long time. So that is huge. Thank you. Amber, anything else we want to say to our beloveds before we check out this morning?
You know what, Shiree? I think that we've touched on everything that really is so important to it. And I think that the only thing that I will say is adding on to what I said previously, it's like you're your own person, you know, and you can watch all the different facilitation videos. You can hear all of the tips that Shiree and I have. And at the same time, you have to bring your own sazon, your own sauce, your own special sauce that you bring into your meetings and as a facilitator. Because one of the most important things is also authenticity. You want to, if you're asking the people in your group, the fellow giving circle members to come, you know, with their full selves and be true, you need to lead by example. And part of that is your facilitation style. So we hope that everybody watching today has learned a little bit, but don't forget, you also have your own life experience. You also have your own special sauce to give to your group. So don't lose sight of that and bring that to the meetings, because that's what's going to make them so special and unique for your group.
Yes, and have fun doing it.
Absolutely.
The world out there, especially under these COVID times and Black Lives Matter across the globe, right?
Yes.
The world is in serious awakening and reflection. So while we do the giving circles work, let's have some fun. Let's be creative because we want to last for the long haul. So if our spirits are strong, our spirits are creative and alive, chances are we're going to be able to stick around for a lot longer.
That's right. That's right. Well, we're signing off, y'all. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day watching this video and learning a little bit more about facilitation and conflict resolution. If nobody's told you today, I love you. Shiree and I love you. And best of luck starting your next Giving Circle meeting.
Yes, you got this.
You got it. Bye, everyone.